This is a little gang of Jeanne Arthes Amore Mio miniatures that I got in a really cute Jeanne Arthes Christmas calendar many years ago. These have been sitting around in a little box, and I thought it was finally time to pull them out, to have a little sniff again, because I had these way before I started my channel. So I thought, okay, let's have a think about what these actually smell like. I can talk to you guys about them, and then, to be honest, because none of these are really my kind of perfumes, I can then pass them on to someone else. So if we start with the original Amore Mio, I'm just going to show you. This here is what the actual bottle looks like, the real bottle. That's that there. So the actual perfume, Amore Mio, I think this one's been around for quite a long time. And I personally, this is the one that I was kind of the most excited about. And in a way, it is the one that I find the most wearable. But at the same time, I'm not really that keen on actually wearing it because it's not necessarily my type of scent. Reason being that this one just really smells like Nina by Nina Ricci, the first one that came out, that's in a little kind of apple shaped bottle, with, you know, this kind of pink and slightly red, and it's got the little kind of leaves on the top and the round lid. So I think it smells very similar to that perfume, and it's kind of a bit lighter, slightly less cloying, but it's still got that kind of vibe. However, if what you want is that kind of smell, if you like Nina, then this is an absolute bargain. It's super cheap. It's really pretty. It's got a decent longevity, this one, because it's so sweet. So the original Amore Mio is top notes of Amalfi lemon, lychee and blackcurrant, middle notes cherry, white flowers and almond, base notes marzipan, tonka bean, musk and Virginia cedar. So the marzipan was the thing I was super excited about here, but it just didn't really... It's just incredibly sweet and fruity, but I wouldn't have recognised it as marzipan specifically, and that's what I was hoping for. It's super cute. Like, if of any of these, this would probably be the one that I would be most likely to keep if I didn't have like 200 and something other perfumes. But I don't really particularly need that one, so I will be passing that on, but I do think it's super cute, and I think out of all of these, it's my favourite. So that's the first Amore Mio. And then if we move on to this guy here, this one is Amore Mio Forever. Now, this one comes in a blue. Let's have a little look at that. This comes in a little blue bottle. If you can see, these have got really cute like snake sprayers wrapped around them. I guess that's supposed to be kind of Garden of Eden or something. I'm not sure. So Amore Mio Forever. This one also reminds me of a few things. So the notes in this are top notes of blackcurrant, Amalfi lemon, bergamot and rose, middle notes of tropical fruit, peach, jasmine and cinnamon, base notes red apple, musk and amber. So I feel like it kind of, again, it has a slight Ralph from Ralph Lauren vibe, as I think a couple of these sort of do. And a couple of the Boom perfumes also remind me a little bit of Ralph by Ralph Lauren, the one in the turquoise bottle. But this is very appley. And it also reminds me a tiny bit, when it dries down, of Red Sin by Christina Aguilera. It's almost equally as light as that perfume, but not quite, because Red Sin is almost invisible, and Red Sin has more of a perfumey vibe than Amore Mio Forever. So I also think when I first put this on my skin that it smells like apple sours. So if you know what that is, that's like a liqueur, an apple liqueur that I'm pretty sure is still fluorescent green. It used to be when I was young. So this is not one that I really want to keep either, but it is quite cute. And again, yeah, if you kind of like a really light and fruity apple and cinnamon smell without it being too kind of cloying, you want still a freshness to it, you don't want it to be kind of wintry. This is like a kind of summery apple and cinnamon smell. So if you like apple and cinnamon, this is absolutely a winner. So next on the list, let's go for this one. So this is Amore Mio, I Love You. Some of the names of these are quite funny. This one has a bottle that looks like this. So you can see it's like a pink bottle with black text. Now I happen to know that you can get a little, I'm not sure if it's a tester bottle or not, but you can get a full size bottle of Amore Mio I Love You on Direct Cosmetics currently, because I saw it quite recently. So this is an intriguing one. Yeah, so I kind of went through phases of this one. When I first smelled it, I was like, I'm not sure. And then it dried down and I really liked it. But then when it got to the base notes, I really did not like it anymore and I found it cloying, even though it's very light. So the top notes here are pear, pink pepper and grapefruit. Middle notes are rose, peony and geranium. And the base notes are musk, vanilla and tonka bean. Now, when you first spray this, you definitely get pink pepper and pear, like absolutely. And actually, it reminds me of like pear drops, if you know what that is. That's like a slightly acidic, strange British sweet in the shape of a pear, that I always think weirdly smells a little bit like petrol. So it's not the greatest smell at first, especially when mixed with that pink pepper. And I just thought, oh, there's so much pink pepper. But after a few minutes, you get a very, very delicate pink rose kind of starting to come through. And then it kind of starts to get more and more pretty. And then the more the tonka bean comes through, it's very, very pretty. Like, it's a really nice scent. The problem for me is that in the deep dry down, it starts to get a slightly baby powdery vibe. And the vanilla comes through more. And then it starts to get a bit cloying. And then I was thinking, oh, maybe it's got that slight Kenzo flower vibe about it that I don't like, just not as powdery. It's fresher, you know. So I'm not really. I kind of, again, like I thought I might keep this one, but in the deep dry down, I just can't really wear it. So that one's not for me either, unfortunately. Okay, let's have a look. This is Amore Mio Passion. So the Passion bottle, it hasn't got the box on this picture for some reason, but this is the picture of the bottle. I'm just very unprofessional because I don't really know how to add images to these particular videos. Okay, so Amore Mio Passion is notes of raspberry, peach, blossom and mandarin in the top. Middle notes are orchid, jasmine and peony. Base notes are cashmere wood, white musk and vanilla and patchouli. So I get a lot of patchouli in this in a way that I really, really don't like. I don't particularly like patchouli anyway, but I definitely don't like it when things are quite sweet. So this one, it's been compared to Amore Mio by Cacharel, but I'm not sure it particularly smells like that, to be honest. I had that perfume, went through a few bottles when I was young, and I don't really think it smells like that. But what I did think when I first smelt this is it reminded me of the first time, which was when it first came out, to be fair, so I might be remembering this incredibly, wrong. When I first smelt Euphoria by Calvin Klein, for some reason I thought it smelled like pineapple. There is no pineapple in those notes, but there was like a tangy, zingy fruitiness on top of the sweetness and on top of that quite heavy patchouli. And I think this gave me that same vibe. So I have a feeling that it reminds me more of Euphoria than it does Amore Mio. So again, that's definitely not one for me. I can't even wear Amore Mio anymore, but that used to be something I wore. And then the last of these little baby miniatures, which hopefully will be in the hands of someone who will appreciate them a bit more than me, is Amore Mio White Pearl. So White Pearl, I mean, this won't come as a surprise if I show you what this bottle looks like, because this one is obviously going to be, there you go, a white bottle. I'm not sure if it's pearlescent or not, but it would be cool if it were. So this one was very recognizable to me as another perfume. So this is top notes of red pepper, mixed berries. So that's like red pepper, like a kind of capsicum smell, you know. Red berries, middle notes, rose and raspberry, base notes, benzoin, vanilla, patchouli and musk. It's very sweet. The patchouli is very strong. You can definitely smell the rose and raspberry, and you do get a spiciness from that pepper and a slight sharpness from the red berries. It is everything it says it is. So this has a top comparison of what's it called? Lex Stays by Nina Ricci. The one that's, so I have X Stays de Nina Ricci or something. I have the one that's in like the pastel pink opaque bottle. That's a rose and red berries and raspberry smell. It's sweet, but it's super sharp as well. But that one doesn't have any patchouli in it. So Lex Stays is the one that's in the kind of transparent but darker bottle. It's not the one in the black bottle. It's the other one. And that one is quite patchouli heavy. I don't know it personally. I haven't smelt that one because I know I won't like it, because I know it's got strong patchouli in it. But I think this made me think of La Nuit Trésor when I smelt it. A slightly more modern version of La Nuit Trésor, slightly less kind of mature smelling. And I, as far as I can tell from reviews of Lex Stays, Nina Ricci, I think that is kind of a less mature version of La Nuit Trésor. So it would make sense that this reminds me of La Nuit Trésor. It's just not for me. That's not my kind of vibe. I really don't like patchouli enough. But if you really like either of those perfumes, this is the cheapest way to get that kind of smell. I think it lasted longer than pretty much any other Jeanne Arthes, actually. Like, I've got a few Jeanne Arthes. None of them are particularly beastly. They are all supposed to be eau de parfums, but they're pretty light. They're cheap, so you wouldn't expect anything else. However, Amore Mio White Pearl really lasted on my skin. I ended up having to scrub it off because that patchouli was just too strong. But without the patchouli, I would have loved it, because I think it's got a really nice rose scent. The musk in it's really nice. The fruits in it are really good. It all mixes really nicely together, and I can tell that this is a really nice perfume. I just personally do not like fruit tuiles, and this is a very rose forward fruit tuile to me, so it's not my kind of vibe. But if you find La Nuit Trésor to be a bit too strong, maybe a bit too mature, or if you just really like Lex Stays by Nina Ricci, then you can get this for way cheaper. I think it's a really good deal. I think you can probably get it for around £15-20. So and that's for like 100ml. So I think it's really good value. I think all of the Jeanne Arthes perfumes, generally speaking, are pretty good value. I think they're really cute, they're really fun, really, really cheap and cheerful. So yeah, so that's my little review of my tiny baby miniatures from the Amore Mio collection. And I totally recommend them, even if they're not really for me. I didn't get that particular calendar for the Amore Mio collection. I got it because I wanted to smell some of the Boom collection, and I now have a lot of the Boom collection in my collection, so that was a good choice. It's just that these, I think, generally speaking, seem to be dupes of other perfumes. Whether I can always recognise them or not, I'm not sure, but they're dupes of quite popular perfumes, and me being me, I don't necessarily like particular popular perfumes, so the Boom range are kind of a little bit more up my street in what they're doing, but I think these are really good value, like I said. So yeah, I highly recommend them, and if you can find them, they're just such a steal.